Hi guys, thank you for joining me back on my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I achieve my high coverage foundation routine. I am off today, and so it's just normally the day I like to do fun makeup looks, and I'm going to be meeting up with my fiance for a lunch date. So I'm just going to do a fun, again, high coverage foundation routine for you guys today. So to begin today's look, I'm first going to just pull back my hair just so everything's out of the way for the actual makeup application. And zoom you guys in so you can basically just get a good idea of what it is that I'm doing. I'll be listing all the products down below, but first things first, I'm just going to be priming my face. Now, because I live in Colorado, I did apply some moisturizer prior to starting my makeup, just because I don't want my face to be super dry. So, got that primer all set in. Now, just because this is going to be a high coverage foundation, I'm going to apply a little bit concealer underneath my foundation. And I'm just gonna kind of go over the center of my entire face with that. I'm just gonna lightly blend that out. These are just the areas that I want to really come out slightly more highlighted and with a lot more coverage. So that's why I'm applying just like a thin layer of concealer before. And again, I will list the products, but this particular concealer is really smooth and goes on really evenly, so it's kind of nice to use underneath foundation anyway, just because it gives me a really smooth application. I did get some eyelash extensions applied yesterday, so that's why I kind of figured this would be a nice time to do my foundation routine when I don't really need a whole lot of eye makeup. So the foundation I'm using, Revlon Colorstay, is really high coverage. I'm just going to put a couple squirts of this across my whole face, and this is basically just what I'm going to use to apply across my entire face. I'm using a flat top foundation brush, and really important in the application of my foundation is I always use patting motions. And the first thing, I'm just gonna basically distribute all of this foundation across my face so that I can go in and blend everything out, making sure that I get all along my jawline as well. Bring that up onto my temple. Make sure that I'm using patting motions again to kind of buff that into my hairline. Just like that. Really important to just blend the foundation down your neck, because biggest giveaway of having some high coverage foundation is when you have two completely different shades from your face to your neck. By using the flat top brush, this helps to really evenly distribute the foundation across my face. If I were to be swiping this foundation across my face, just because of the consistency, because it really is an opaque foundation, really meant to give you really even coverage, it wouldn't be applying evenly, and it'd probably be just like imagining it now, it'd be getting cakey in areas. But by using the patting technique, really distributes the foundation evenly and gives you that really perfect finish. So now that I've really just, again, really make sure that that's blended up into your hairline. I don't go really far into it because I don't want it to have foundation all over my hair, but just make sure that enough of the edges are blended out. And then going down on both sides of my neck and underneath my chin to bring that all down my neck. Now, the concealer that I'll be using is a Dermablend concealer. This is used for tattoo coverage, and I think one of the advocates was, I can't remember his name, that guy who has his entire face tattooed, and he just like covered his entire face with this concealer and you couldn't even see it. But I'm just going to gather a little bit of this on my fingertips. I do promise my hands are clean. And I'm just going to pat some of this underneath my eye. And one of the most important techniques when applying concealer underneath your eye is to bring this into a triangle-like shape down the sides of your nose, out. You can bring it out as far as you'd like. I don't normally have to go out too far in order to get a pretty decent amount of coverage, but just enough so it goes all underneath your eye and then down past the sides of your nose. And then you can just blend that out. On an ordinary day, you could use, or well, I'm sorry, I would use a beauty blender, but I just don't feel like doing that all today. I'm just going to blend this all around the sides of my nose, just because typically for women that's where you tend to get a little pop of redness. I am on the lookout for a new kit that has all the different color palettes on it, like some green, because I do occasionally get some redness, and some pink and red tones for under eye, so on the lookout for a new one of those. And just blend that out, and again making just a triangle shape like so, bringing that out just past my eyes just a little bit. And this just helps to create a more natural looking gradient from the dark circle underneath your eye, as opposed to just going over top of the circle. This really gives that entire area has that illuminated look. So in the meantime, what I'm gonna do to get out, I use two different powders to set my foundation. So the first that I'm going to be using is translucent powder. I think that this is an important step in any foundation routine, especially when you want it to be high coverage, because it just helps to make sure that your foundation is really set and without adding any additional coverage. So I'm going to just gather some of that on another kind of flat top kabuki brush, and starting with my forehead, using patting motions. Just gonna pat that all over my forehead. Sorry, I take dramatic pauses when doing my makeup. It's because I alternate between looking at the camera lens and then looking at the mirror behind you. You is in the camera. Getting a little bit more of that, just like so. Tapped a little bit onto the cap of my translucent powder, and I'm just gonna bring that and look up when going underneath the eye, because it helps to prevent any sort of creasing. I have seen some makeup artists or some beauty bloggers who will apply foundation all over their lips, and I think to each their own. I preferably don't like to do that, just because I end up with foundation all over my mouth later, and I don't know, it just gets like in between my lips, and it's like, ugh, I don't like it. I personally don't like it, but I do go somewhat onto my lips with foundation, just along the edges, and it's just enough to make everything look really seamless when I do apply lipstick or anything on my lips later, because otherwise you can end up with that lighter line around your mouth. And I'm also bringing this down onto my neck as well and make sure that that is all blended down my neck. So the last little powder that I use is just going to be a mineral foundation, and I really use the smallest amount of powder. I just tap it and it just helps to kind of seamlessly bring together my foundation color with the rest of me, because I do have fake tan on normally, just a fake tanner, fake and baker. And using just that small amount that I did tap out into the cap, I'm just going to bring this all over my face, down onto my neck. It's an important step, as you will notice. Alright, now go in applying some bronzer. This is going to be my favorite bronzer in the whole world. I'm using just a big fluffy brush, and this just helps to make, almost like blends it out on its own just by using a big fluffy brush. And I'm going to put this all, if you were to suck in your mouth, that line is kind of what I'm following, but I'm bringing it up onto my temples, slightly onto my forehead. It's like if you imagine when an artist is making something, one of those like monochromatic drawings, and you always start with the lightest shade as like the blendable shade, and then you kind of go in with darker tones. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I should just stop talking about this right now. But for my contour, I'm just gonna go in with kind of a smaller fluffy brush of sorts, just like so, and using just the bronzer shade from this Nars Orgasm Blush. I'm just gonna tap this all in that crease, just slightly blend it out. I'm going to bring a little bit of that onto my nose as well, just because I do like to make my nose look slightly more on the slender side. And if you are like me and do like to apply a whole lot of makeup, it's kind of important to get that on your ears as well, so that you don't have really white ears. Okay, just like that. So, for blush, now at this point I'm getting a pretty decent amount of makeup on my cheeks and on my temples, and I will be going in with some highlighter as well, so that'll cover kind of the center areas. So for blush, I'm just using this blush kit that came in the NYX Underneath It All palette, and starting with kind of a more peachier shade, popping that just on the tops of my cheeks. Like that. And there's a really light peach shade in here that I got kind of a duplicate for. I'm just throwing things all over the place, but this is the L'Oreal True Match. It's just another really peachy blush, and I think it's nice to have two different shades of blushes because it just gives a more natural kind of flush to your face. So I put that peachy shade just there on the center of my cheeks, and put just a little bit of this on my nose as well. So it kind of creates a natural flow, I suppose. Now, taking a smaller fluffy brush like that, I'm just going to take these two highlight shades, just a blend of these, and pop that just on the center. Or, I'm sorry, the tops of my cheekbone. Blend that out just like so. slightly wrap it around. I was actually really impressed by the quality of highlighter in these palette. This little eyeshadow palette. Slightly buff that into the blush. Using a smaller amount just because I don't want it to be so intense. Bring that down the center of my nose. And then picking up some more product. Put that on top of my lips. And I'll just pop that on my brow bone as well. So following this makeup look, I'm going to zoom you guys out. Or I'm sorry. Last finishing step, I am going to spritz my face with my Urban Decay foundation setting spray. You're supposed to do this like 3 times, I'm pretty sure, but we're gonna go with that. So following this foundation look, this is my high coverage foundation. I'm going to be uploading a eye tutorial following this because I am, again, getting ready for a date with my fiance. So I hope you guys enjoyed this foundation look. I am sorry that I'm just gonna buzz out of here, but I am just going to film the eye look for this right now. So thank you guys for coming back to my channel, and I will see you guys next Monday. Bye.